Hello everybody and welcome to free UFC bet picks. Thanks for tuning into our show today. We are here breaking down UFC Vegas 16, Hermansson versus Vettori. Our early predictions here after watching tons of tape. We will have our post-weigh-in video on Friday like normal, where we will give our final bets, parlays, and daily fantasy advice. Everything you need. So let's get right into our next fight here. Starting off the main card, a featherweight bout between Movsar Evloev and Nate Landwehr. Evloev undefeated with 13 wins under his belt. He does have a 2.5-inch reach on Landwehr, but Landwehr does have the height advantage, 2-inch height advantage there. Bet lines have Evloev as the biggest favorite on the card at -500 and Landwehr the underdog at +360. What are you thinking about this fight?
Really exciting fight. You know, Movsar is a stud. The UFC's really hyped about him. Like you said, 13-0, and he has a good, exciting style. This is actually like a tougher fight than I would think that they would give him. Like when they're trying to build up these prospects, they usually want to give them some stepping stones. Movsar is the type of guy we should be giving like an aging veteran to let him get a big name on his resume. You know, Nate Landwehr doesn't have a big name, and he's very good. You mentioned it. Landwehr is bigger than him, so you think, oh, well, he's taller, rather. So you think, oh, he must be like thinner. No, Nate Landwehr is so thick. You know, when these guys stare down, Landwehr is going to look a full weight class bigger than him. He must cut a ton of weight because he's huge. He's just huge for the weight class. You know, and he's fought good competition. He was in M1, fighting good competition. He's fought decent competition in the UFC, you know, Darren Elkins. So, you know, we'll get into it. We'll start with Movsar. Really exciting striker. He likes to throw nice spinning techniques, throw some spinning back fists and stuff. When he mixes up the wrestling well and he has good time takedowns, when guys take him down, like in his last fight against Mike Grundy, which we'll talk about, he has explosive scrambles. He gets out of trouble. He doesn't let people stay on top of him. And even when you fight hard, you get him down like 5 seconds and he's back on his feet. It's really impressive get-up game. When he does scramble, it's a little bit reckless, and he leaves his head, you know, somewhat vulnerable for a guillotine. We've never even seen anybody really come close to it, but just when I'm watching it, you know, it looks like he's just sticking his head out there for the taking a little bit. If I'm being like critical, you know, he's undefeated. You got to find something, right?
Yeah.
But he's a little reckless in those scrambles, but they're so fast that no one can capitalize on it, you know. So he ends up just getting back to his feet. You just really can't hold him down at all. So the last fight, that was really the story of the fight. Mike Grundy, you know, UFC vet, good wrestler. Mike Grundy was 12-1, coming off a KO against Landwehr, and Landwehr is a good fighter. I have a high opinion of him. You know, the fight started off striking. Grundy catches a kick and takes him down to half guard, you know, right away. And, you know, normally a guy like Movsar wouldn't want to throw too many kicks in this situation because he knows Grundy wants to take him down, but his get-up game is that good that he doesn't care. He will throw some rather exciting strikes because he knows he can get up. So even, you know, that first takedown that Grundy got, he actually got kind of like a deep Darce choke, and, you know, Evloev gets up and lands another big overhand on Grundy that hurt him. Grundy gets another takedown. It was just kind of a back and forth first round where Movsar had a huge striking edge, like where you thought he might finish the fight multiple times, but then Grundy takes him down. You know, Grundy's kind of in survival mode. So, you know, big round for Movsar. Round two, Grundy, you knew in his corner, like I didn't hear it, but like you could tell right from the start of round two, his game plan was to not even pretend to strike and then go for the takedown. He was coached to go for the takedown immediately. Yeah. You know, that was not to his credit though. It's you know, he was going for poorly timed takedowns from far away, and Movsar was just sprawling and brawling, putting it on him, jabs and straights, you know, just really technical stuff. He wasn't doing any of the spinning stuff against Grundy. He didn't want to, you know, give up his back. He does get taken down a couple times, but he pops right back up like we talked about. It's really just the story of the whole fight. Third round, Movsar is just picking him apart. Grundy gets him down one more time, gets his back. Movsar gets back up again. You know, it's just the whole story of the fight. The fight ends with Grundy knowing that he's knockout or bust and going for heavy, you know, they're just both swinging for the fences. Before that, Movsar, unanimous decision win against Enrique Barzola. you know, he just kept landing like a 1-2 overhand, just really nice 3-punch combos. He lands a front kick, lead uppercuts, just dicing him up. He was a little bit reckless and hittable, but it was just a striking clinic against Barzola, who's, you know, not that good. Before that, you know, Sung Woo Choi is a pretty good fighter, and Movzar actually showed a more diverse game there. He was getting the early takedowns and getting heavy counters. Every time Choi would try to throw a leg kick, Movzar was just coming over the top. So we've seen a lot of different facets of Movzar's game. When he needs to wrestle, he can. When he needs to get up, he can. Good submission defense. But most of the time, he just wants to sprawl and brawl and just pick people apart on the feet. Nate Landwehr does a little bit more of that, but he's more of a brawler. You know, he's really tough. He's a good wrestler, and he's really good in the scrambles. But he's most known for just, you know, kind of brawling and throwing heavy hooks, and he has great durability and great power. So, you know, his first fight in the UFC was a unanimous decision win against Darren Elkins. Darren Elkins was, of course, bleeding everywhere. You know, someone must have sneezed, or like they opened up a window and the draft cut him wide open. Yeah. But Darren Elkins was winning the striking round one at first. You know, he got a takedown. Landwehr got the reversal and got back up. And, you know, the round ends with them just kind of both striking, but Elkins lands another head kick. You know, I think Elkins wins that first round. Round two, you know, it was a really nice clinch knee, and then like a clinch elbow that, or not a clinch elbow, it was a clinch knee. They get space. Elkins comes in on him, and then he catches him with like a Maverick versus Jojua type of elbow as he's coming in on him. And that really gashed Elkins open bad. Nate really started feeling confident at that point, styling on him. You know, he had his hands behind his back. Maybe this is ringing a bell now. He was yelling at Dana White mid-round. Like, he's pointing at the cut, yelling at Dana White, like, oh, you see this? See what I'm doing? You know, Landwehr is a pretty fun fighter. You know, he's a character. But he was just totally showboating, for lack of a better word. Hot dogging. My papa would call it hot dogging. You know, he was hot dogging in there. And, you know, but it was... it almost made it look better than it was. You know, Elkins bleeding, Landwehr showboating, makes it look like showboat. You know, Landwehr's just styling on him, killing him. But it was a pretty close fight. Round three, they're both having success. Elkins loses the round because he's going for poorly timed takedowns, and they're getting stuffed. So Landwehr, just a nice all-around game, nice striking, good fight IQ, good takedown defense against a veteran in Elkins. But it was a closer fight than it would appear. You know, the blood kind of sways things. Fight before that, you know, he gets the clinch knee from Herbert Burns, but it wasn't really like a plum. Like, he kind of had his hands up behind his neck, but Herbert Burns was actually against the cage, and then he just barely at the last second tosses his hands up there and lands that knee right up the middle that put him out cold. So, you know, it's Nate had him up against the cage and got a little bit reckless and kind of starting to duck his head down. And it was more of that. It was more of Landwehr moving his own head down than it was Herbert Burns, like, using the plum, really. You know, it's kind of a hard one to describe, but it was kind of just reckless, sloppy striking. Herbert Burns was against the cage more than it was Herbert Burns with a Muay Thai plum just overpowering him. Before that, unanimous decision win against Victor Kolesnik in M1. That was his last fight in M1. You know, Nate was landing nice leg kicks, no head movement at all, and that's the problem. You know, I could say all the nice things about Landwehr, but the fact when he does strike, his head's just kind of straight up in the air, and the Victor fight was a really evident example of that. He got tired. He's going for some naked hooks. Like, he didn't have technical striking at all. He's always a little bit of a brawler, like I said, but normally that's after the distance has been closed. He was just like kind of reaching and lunging for these hooks with no setup. Victor was like actually landing some nice counter strikes, backing away. He actually landed like a straight punch and a head kick that dropped Nate, and the ref almost stopped it. Like, the ref goes in, was just inches away from grabbing Kolesnik and pulling him off, but he didn't stop it. Nate grabs a single leg, good fight IQ there, and you know, he ends up saving himself there and then pressing the action and winning the decision. So gritty, gutsy, tough fight from Landwehr. Bad head movement, good fight IQ. So, you know, it's just, you can understand why people think Movzar is better in every area. But I think this fight's going to go to decision. That's one recipe of a potential upset or a parlay buster, a heartbreaker. Landwehr's bigger. Like, there's just too many ingredients here to bet, minus 550 to even pop Evloev in your parlay. Last week, we got a ton of fights wrong, just like everyone did, because these wild underdogs had a great night. The dogs were barking, and we came up profitable because we correctly chose the two big favorites to pass on, Parisian and Kamaka. Thank goodness. This has, that type of parlay heartbreaker written all over it. Leave Evloev out of the majority of your parlays. I get it. He should be pretty safe, but Landwehr's just big. It's going to go to decision. This could be sloppy. One cut, one bad decision, one slip, one takedown, one low blow. Like, there's just a lot of things that could sway the fight one way or the other. It's not worth it for the little tiny bit of juice that you get added to your parlay to include Movzar in it. If you want to do Movzar, I think Movzar by decision at minus 135. Put that in your parlay, because he's not going to finish Landwehr. This fight is going to go to decision. So even better than doing, I truly think Landwehr's got a good chance. So I'm going to have the fight to go to decision at minus 186. I'm going to have that in more bets than I'm going to have Evloev straight up or even Evloev by decision at minus 135. So tread easily. I think, Evloev could be one of the biggest favorites to lose of the year.
Yeah.
He's good, but so is Landwehr.
And DraftKings prices, we've got Evloev at 9,300 and Landwehr at 6,900.
I think it's a pass on Evloev because he's likely going to win in a decision. He might win.
I think he's the most expensive.
He should, I bet. He needs to put up like 100 plus points for you for that. I don't see that happening. I think when he wins, which he's probably going to win, but I don't think he's going to win 5 out of, I don't think he's a 5-1 favorite to win.
Right.
He's probably going to win, but it's probably going to be by decision, like I said, and, around a 60-point DFS performance. If Landwehr wins at 6,900, he's for sure going to be part of the optimal lineup. So I'd pass Movzar, and I think Nate is a great punt play, a great salary saver.
Yeah. All right.
If you have to put Evloev in a cash game, because he's a likely winner. I won't say a certain winner, but he's a likely winner.
Right.
The cash games, you want winners. In the GPP, the guaranteed prize pools where you're playing 1,000 guys and you're playing $1 and you're trying to win $800. You want finishers and you want underdogs, and you don't want to spend your whole salary. Strange as that sounds, but you do not want to spend your whole salary. The optimal lineup never spends the whole salary. You want Landwehr in a GPP, and I think he's a good play overall. But Evloev, if you're going to play him, I think he's better in a cash play, like a 50-50 or a double up, where you're playing $5 to win $9. You're like, you just want winners. So hope that makes sense. And comment, let us know if you need any more. It's a weird kind of intricacy thing. There are people who know more about it than us. Brady DFS. Listen to Brady DFS. Just subscribe to that guy. That guy is one. We cash every weekend. We're like up on DFS, but we've never won number one. We never placed number one out of 1,000 or 10,000 people. Brady DFS has. Follow that guy. He's a stud.
Yeah.
I'm blanking, but there are a lot of really good daily fantasy grind. It's like a green tornado-shaped logo. They're like mathematicians. They know about the ownership and the leverage, and so if you want to listen to an hour of that. But the point, for GPP, you want finishers and you want underdogs. For cash games, you want winners.
Yeah. All right. I think that does it for.
I overcomplicate everything.
No. It's all very good information. So, and we work really hard to get it to you guys. So hope you appreciate it. And that sounded really sarcastic. I didn't mean it to be. I hope you do appreciate it. Anything else you want to add? Nope.
Thank you all. And like she said, we put a ton of work into this. We're not just looking at these fights for the first time and like, oh, okay, oh yeah, maybe this. Like, we do so much freaking work on this. I hope you can tell.
Yeah. So this should be a good one. Evloev versus Landwehr. I think I agree with you that the line is a bit bigger than it should be, and the weigh-ins will be very important for this one. Like you said, to see how much bigger Landwehr looks, and
And I think Landwehr could miss weight. I can't believe he makes weight. Like, if I had to pick 5 fighters on this card that are going to have trouble making weight, Nate Landwehr is definitely one of those, I think. He's never shown it in the past, but I just have to assume, so, yeah, the weigh-ins could be important on this one. The line is already steamed so far for Evloev that it doesn't even matter now. Now, I would for sure wait on this fight. Maybe something happens at weigh-ins in Landwehr. Like, maybe Evloev looks terrible, and Evloev becomes tremendous value. I think at this point, you need to wait on it because it's already steamed out of its mind.
Yeah.
Like other people we know.
Yeah, so make sure you do tune into that post weigh-in video on Friday. It'll be very important for multiple fights on this card. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.